Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Anita. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kavya.
Hi, thank you for being with us today. And, it is a delight to have you around, have a conversation with you. Um, for everybody, I would like to introduce Anita quickly, and then Anita, over to you to share more insights about you with all our audience. Anita is an HR professional who comes with over 25 years of experience. She has been into various facets of HR, from talent acquisition to learning and development to managing HR engagement. She's seen almost, I would say, like that. And today we are privileged to have you with us to have a quick conversation around certain points around learning and development. Thank you, Anita, for being with us. Over to you, please.
Great. So you've not left much for me to say, Kavya. So yeah, I've been in the industry for the last almost 26 plus years, still rolling, going strong. And as a young professional, I kind of, traveled abroad. And that's when I realized that I wanted to be, a 360-degree exposed HR professional. So I never restricted myself to any, industry per se or a continent. So I kept going, things kept coming my way. And today I'm very happy, the kind of experience that I've got, and the learning is still going on.
Okay. Okay. Anita, when I met you, I knew that you're somebody who want to be in HR throughout your career, right? And I I I knew from the beginning that you'll be somebody who will be doing extensive work in HR. But how I understand is that you've done a lot of work towards the L&D side of HR, right? So would you like to throw a little more light on how that became, how did you got inclined to that particular part of HR over other segments or other functions, please?
So, Kavya, I started my career as an IT professional, and even I had the big American dream. And unfortunately, 9/11 was the era when the bubble burst, not only for me, but many. And that's where my learning and development journey started. I came back to India and I joined a couple organizations and I became a trainer. And that was, and that's where I realized that I enjoyed more talking to people than I did to laptops. That's what you do. So I wanted to leverage on that, and that kind of got me introduced to my own true calling, and here I am.
Okay, so it's been how many years that you've been focusing on this particular domain of the HR, if we may know that, please?
Kavya, see, it's HR actually. So I told you, I invested a lot of my founding years, and myself as a mid-level manager. I worked in the L&D OD domain exhaustively, and then as I told you that I wanted to explore more and be a robust HR professional. So that kind of built a very strong foundation for me, And what I believe is the HR's main aspect is learning and development, and everything, though it is the employee life cycle, but the epicenter or the core of it is learning and development. And that got me really intrigued. And I've come from a background where I've been told uh, knowledge is the only wealth, that the more you spend, the more you prosper. So that thing, I think that applies to my thought process and all. And that's how L&D has been in the center of my career journey.
Okay, great. This takes me to the question that how do you think upskilling and investment in learning by organizations help them with success? There are, so how do you think, is this an investment or is this like a cost? What do you think about that?
So I this is one of the things that I read on one of my reading sprees on the internet, is you don't build business, you build people and people build businesses, right? So and my personal motto, if you go through my LinkedIn profile, says driving growth through people. And
Right.
growth only happens when you educate people. And then if I get a little more, deeper into it, I think it brings a lot of adaptability. uh, Industries evolve. Organizations must ensure, that their employees are equipped with the latest skills and knowledge to stay competitive. Innovation, it gives once so innovation comes into play once you get enough exposure, right? And it fosters a lot of culture of innovation in an organization. It enables employees to bring fresh ideas and solutions. Not to mention employee engagement and retention, and increased job satisfaction and reducing turnover rates. Of course, not to mention productivity. Well trained people, well informed people deliver better, so they know exactly how they are a part of the bigger picture. And then you talk about compliances and risk management, and we've all just witnessed the unprecedented time, the covids. And I think it is the adaptability, the learning that had people build resilient businesses and stay relevant in the industry and be sustainable. So I think that's what it is in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. In fact, this brings me to a point that, yes, I think a lot of organizations sees this as an investment, is what is my takeaway from your point too. But, a lot of times what happens is that, while this is an investment, an organization does understand this, right? But, um, you know choosing that, okay, what competencies, how we want to align this, what kind of initiatives we want to take. A lot of times the organizations can't really or probably while they understand, they do not come out and say, okay, this is where I need to develop. So it is more about doing it for all, rather than figuring out that, okay, how investment in a particular function or in a particular initiative can help the organization in being more competitive, towards that side. So how does that, is this a link between these things? Is the organizations out there thinking like that, okay, instead of making 20 people sit in a training program, okay, let me just handhold 5 of them, let me just so how does this work? Is this what are the insights, what are your insights on that? Is this these are the kind of discussions which are happening out there?
Yes. So, talking about it, L&D impacts the overall success and the competitiveness of any company. And
Right.
of course, no matter how much you invest, it's always, a value add. Now, let me just make a statement and you'll understand. So, this is a conversation between a CFO and a CEO, and I know many of you out there know what I'm saying. So, the CFO is telling the CEO, what if we train our people and they leave? And the CEO says, what if we don't and they stay? So it is that way. And the other one is, well, if we train our people well enough, excuse me, and when they leave, they at least they become your brand ambassadors, right? So they always take a good word about the organization, and and that's what any organization needs. So it's a win-win situation. If they stay and your culture is good enough and they don't want to leave because of your learning and development investments and commitment, it adds value to the organization and the growth. And if they leave, you are letting go brand ambassadors out there who are going to talk about you. So it's the word of mouth that goes on. Apart from that, I think L&D is the cornerstone of any company's success. Um, People do talk about enhancing skill sets so that employees are better prepared, to deal with future challenges. Driving performance, continuous improvement helps people understand, stay relevant. It of course builds a leadership pipeline, and there's a succession pipeline in the
Yeah, I
organization.
think the succession pipeline is a very, very important
Very
point.
critical one.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, the knowledge, the knowledge matter remains in the organization, and that's what you don't want to lose out on. Of course, cultivate, and this is all contributing towards cultivating a learning culture. And it of course attracts people, and when people come, Kavya, this is a lot when I say, when I'm talking to people, gone are the days when, people like you and me in job interviews used to sit and say, this is what I can do and this is what I can bring on the table. And now in the today's era, well, I'm not going to tag people and the generations, but nowadays people want to know what is in it for me. And when you offer that you foster continuous improvement, you give development opportunities, and that's where people want to come. So it's kind of an learning attracts top talent. And of course it also helps you be more agile, resilient. You respond to market changes. And something like AI is coming in and everybody's talking about it. And, say 7 months or 8 months ago, it wasn't the way it is. And 2 years from now, we will totally be on a different level and a league. So that's what is all of this, and how are we getting there? Somebody out there is learning and somebody out there is contributing and leading, right? So I think it speaks for itself.
Absolutely. And this brings me to and I have an urge to share this. I think it's not always about the organization saying that, okay, this is where we can contribute as your learning partners. I think it is equally a responsibility of any talent in any organization is to keep those, that self discovery is also very important. That, okay, where do I need, where do I need hand holding, where do I need a little intervention or a longer intervention. I think it's very important to, everybody has to think for themselves, and of course come to a platform which is your own organization and bring that to the point that, okay, this is where I think I need hand holding, I need development initiatives. I think if everybody starts thinking like that, for themselves too, there is a lot out there which organizations also want to do, right? I mean, for them. But
Yes.
yeah, I think it is equally an employee's responsibility as well to say, okay, this is where I need support, or probably if it is not support, upskilling, reskilling, whatever, right? Knowing new things, knowledge, right? So I just got very excited to share this point. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I'll just take it over and I'll make a statement. This kind of, when you're talking about it, that, even the employees have to learn to hold their own bait into learning. I'll tell you what happened to me in my life. My nanny, my maternal grandmother, came from, she faced partition, and so they came from a very affluent background. And of course, when they came here, there was nothing. And this is me and her having a conversation. And she told me that, everything was left behind except for the knowledge that I had gained. And that's what inspires me. And she opened an education institution which is still run very successfully by my uncle. It's a big name in Jodhpur. And how it changed my DNA, I mean, I still till date, in my over 2 decades of experience, make sure I go back to school every decade. Why? It makes me relevant. It helps me understand what the trend is, what's going on, and what's going on and what's the change. So that's me. You equally excited me to bring this point on board.
Sure, I'm delighted with that. You just touched upon one point in the previous point you were making. How, what do you think is the role of technology, in bringing this learning to the maximum number of people? I think today our country is have so much of talent, and we, if learning also becomes, if it is available to a lot of them. So what do you think technology is going to play the role? It is already playing a lot of role, but how do you think the present and the future is going to look like from that perspective?
See, the way I told you, we can clearly see it. We've witnessed it. A few months ago, it was life without AI, and today it's life with AI, and it's touched everybody, all of us. Whether we like it or not, we've all seen it. Even a local chai wala. I recently went to Darjeeling and Sikkim, and this was me crossing the Himalayan Queen railway track, and the left hand side in the car was a chai wala ka dukan with the AI generated posters of chai. And I was like, yeah, I rolled down my window and I like, is this AI? And okay, yes, madam, hum banaya. And I was like so impressed. So this is what technology is doing. It's bringing you learning opportunities on the go. You don't have to go to all the way to UK or any other place, or and you just have it on the click of a button, right? So what are they? You have e-learning platforms. It's offering you flexible and scalable learning solutions. You have augmented reality providing immersive learning experiences. You have data analytics. You can track your personal progress and learning paths.
Right.
I spoke to you about mobile learning, which is what we did in my one of my past organizations, where the challenge was to get people in a room and lock them up and train them. So I was like, no, we don't have that kind of time. And I kind of engage these people, and where we rolled out this beautiful thing called learning on the go. And excuse me, the idea was whatever learning that people got from a YouTube link or a reel or whatever, they would share it with us.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Okay.
And we would select the top 3, and for that week we would propagate that across the organization, and then we would associate certain quiz questions with whatever we were proposing, and whoever got the closest answers would be given a small kind of a reward. I mean, what kind of an investment is that? Not too much, right? And I'm kind of inspiring people. They're excited to share. The people who shared are sharing what they've learned. The people who are learning are excited to get the incentive. And then I'm at the end of the day, I'm the one who's gaining, because I've got my workforce who's learning, And of course, the social learning tools, and the more I talk or the less I talk, there's so much out there for that. So it facilitates collaboration and knowledge
Yeah.
sharing amongst employees, is what we did and what I just spoke to you about. So I think technology plays a very, very pivotal role in modern L&D.
Yeah, and and when you were giving this example and this instance you were sharing, what I was thinking was that this entire initiative which you did with your folks, I think it would have encouraged them to also give ideas to you, right? Next time, I mean,
Yeah,
you kind of initiated that, and they came, they observed, they experienced, because I also personally feel that it's all about experience, right? I mean,
right.
what experience you're left with, or what experience you give people, is how you can probably multifold things. So if you're giving a bad experience, the bad experience comes your way. If you're giving a great
Absolutely.
experience, the great experience should come your way. So when you gave this example, I was thinking, if I would have been one of those employees, then I would have got very excited to know that okay, I can walk up to Anyuta and give more out of box ideas,
Yeah,
very random ideas, disruptive ideas, so that is something I think we all should keep encouraging, and I'm sure organizations out there are really encouraging this kind of initiatives. I This brings me to the point, because we started talking about that, okay, how people get encouraged, to walk up to the leadership and say, okay, can we do this? But a lot
yeah,
of times, am I right in saying that people do walk up to the leaderships, and or probably to their own managers, and in whatever capacity they can, and they talk about what we can do. A lot of them want to be solution providers, but do you think that they actually walk up for themselves as well and say, okay, in fact, I want to link this to my one of the questions in the beginning of the chat, that uh, are they talking about themselves too? Are they saying that, okay, this is my need? Who's helping them in identifying that need is where I want your insights, and I'm sure our audience wants your insight, how this need analysis is happening. Is it happening only at an organization level, or there are tools now in the system which says, okay, figure out where you lack, or where you need support, or what do you want to learn new? What's happening on that side? I very curious to know about that.
So I'm glad you asked this question, because this is something that we were very focused on when we did our need analysis. And see, what I learned, and I'm sure many of the audience out there would resonate with what I'm saying, is usually when we do our appraisals and we do performance assessments and we see competency gaps, we suggest certain upskilling opportunities. What we used to do in one of the organizations where I worked in the past was we used to collect need analysis from three aspects. One, of course, the way you said, looking at the business, where the business is going, and the kind of technology that they would need to address their upcoming opportunities. The second one was what is the departmental need, the team's capabilities and competencies. And last but not the least was where we got individual, aspirations, their career
Okay.
aspirations. What did they want to do? And
Okay.
collecting inputs in our L&D analysis and our need assessments are these three aspects which would encapsulate the training plan for the year, which was a
Okay.
great success, because something in it was there for everybody. That's how we
Right.
got it. Yeah.
So and they felt relatable because they're the ones
Yes.
who said, okay, I want this, I need this, I think this is what I aspirationally want to do. So I think this is a great perspective that build it, but build it with them, right? Because
Yes.
there's
Yes.
going to be a better buy-in, and okay. And
Mm.
how do they reach that? Is this just what they're thinking, that okay, I want to aspirationally do this, learn this, or this is where I need handholding? So how do an individual can reach to that point, Anita? Very, very interesting side this chat is taking. How can, see, if I'm a layman and I want to know that, okay, how what is my, I want to do some kind of need analysis of my training needs. What is that one thing one can do? I mean, or any suggestions you have for people?
See, it's if you want to inspire people, you have to lead by example. So and you have to walk the talk. So if I want to do actually inculcate a learning and a learning culture in my organization, everybody has to speak the same language. There has to be no ambiguity in that. And
Right.
that's how incubation centers work. That's how the trust index of the employee gets encouraged, and people know that if I go and ask that I want to do this, I want to experiment
Yeah.
with this, and I want to
Yeah.
learn this, and I want to get exposed to this, and then they know that the organization gives them that kind of a backup and a support, because they mean what they say and they deliver goods, and we've seen the results. And I've got ambassadors. So this is something that we did in yet another organization where we worked, and we created brand ambassadors who had actually grown the scale of the organization, and we kind of showcased them. We took them to different forums. We had them propagate their personal experience, because then employees know कि इसके साथ हो सकता है, then why not me? If
Yeah.
it's this person, then why not me? And that's what
Absolutely.
works well. The authenticity, the relatability is what works. And I think that's how it works well in the organization.
I just love the way you said that, someone who's like an ambassador, maybe maybe a person who's not your boss, right? Who's not your mentor, who's not the person from the same department, but then, or a function, but the organization is giving you an opportunity to walk up to someone and say, okay, this is where I'm thinking. So, someone who's not going to really judge you from a perspective that, okay, I work with the same department and I know this is how it works and it is not going to work differently and things like that. So I think having those ambassadors is an amazing point, which I got from you. I also wanted to know that, how encouraging learning in the organization can actually, is there a link between, the diversity initiatives and learning? What do you think about that? Do you think that exists and that will exist, or that already exists? Does this encourage diversity? If you encourage learning within the organization, your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. See, when organizations say that we are an equal opportunity company, and and likewise follow that in their learning and growth opportunities, it speaks volumes, right? And then you want to bring about the why just that? When I Now I'm just getting deeper into it. If I offer
Sure.
training on diversity, equity, and inclusion to foster a respectful workplace, so I'm just using this as an example to answer your question. uh, it would bring out the commitment of the organization in terms of, no matter where you are, no matter what your race, your color, your belief, your faith, whatever your preference, we just want you to come and work with us, and we want to, expose you and make you learn. So we are not kind of discriminating you. We just like you the way you are, and we value who you are. And again, one more thing is, I in my as a young manager, I used to do inductions for the very long time, and I met this whole ocean of people who used to come and join my company. And I've got such wonderful memories of those sessions. And one of those sessions, I used to tell people, have you seen an analog watch? Though this is a digital one. So have you opened an analog watch, and have you ever seen the complexity of the watch? And what if I remove a nut? Do you think that the system would work? So you tell me, do you think if I remove a nut from an analog watch, would it work? So
Yeah,
basically,
okay.
yeah. So, and then I used to make, on a lighter note, say, consider yourself that nut. So I'm a nut, right? And I contribute to the organization as crucially as anybody
As
else.
that, yeah, right,
So
right.
even if it's a brick wall, even if it's a pyramid, every brick on that pyramid has a value add. And that's, if you remove it, it's incomplete.
Right.
And that's what we talk about, and that's what we are propagating. And then of course it brings about an unconscious bias. And you want to educate your employees about biases and how to mitigate them. And then there are lots of mentorship programs where you want to pair diverse employees with mentors to support their development. And then we also speak about a lot of inclusive content, ensuring that the training material is relevant. So I can just tell you something that I recently saw on LinkedIn. It was a small video clip where a girl is sitting and reading, flipping a book, and she's telling her mother, why does this book talk about men are the breadwinners, or men are the men change or drive a society? So she says, don't women build a society? Don't women contribute? And that's when it got me thinking that we are impacting subconscious minds at a very young age. And if we foster that at a level where professionals are coming to work every day, and if they feel honored and respected, where you build in the sensitivity that it's the workplace belongs to everybody. And if I look at the larger picture, here's me getting a little emotional, is the planet belongs to everybody, right? So
Absolutely.
these are the values, where these are the places, these are the sessions where we get opportunity to propagate that, and that's how we take it ahead.
Absolutely. What a wonderful way to put that across. Anita, you just showed during the chat. You did show that how your grandmom inspired you, and how knowledge became your DNA. I also want to talk a little bit more about that. Because see, a lot of times what happens is that if you work for an organization, an organization which can support your learning. I think a lot of times it is you have that platform, right? You say, okay, my organization can help me in learning this. But how about individuals, individuals who choose what to learn, where to learn, what should I learn? And I know that you have personally invested a lot into your learning, over the years, your time, money, energy. And I keep saying that you're constantly upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself. You're doing multiple programs. So what is that inspiration all about? How do you inspire yourself, keep inspiring yourself for so much of learning? How does that work? And what is your message for individuals to say, okay, I will invest my time, money, energy into upskilling myself or knowing more things? How does that work? What is your message for that?
So I'm you've actually touched a lot of emotional aspects of who I am as an individual. And I can tell you that there's six hashtags that I use very consciously during my LinkedIn post, or even on my website, or whenever I'm writing about something relevant. And three of them is about keep learning, keep inspiring, and and then there are two more which because I'm excited right now, I don't remember, but let's just hold on to this tagline: keep learning, keep inspiring. This came to me from a running colleague, and I'm an athlete, and I was never an athlete. It just came up one fine day, and I knew at a later age and stage I wanted to be more active in my life, and I wanted to be fit. So fitness became a lifestyle. And this particular the buddy of mine uses this: keep running, keep inspiring. And that kind of caught on with me, and it said, I made this own hashtag saying keep learning, keep inspiring, right? And it's not only that, it's because the way I told you, my DNA is made, and it's what I have understood, like, you can a candle cannot make a place bright in a closed room. You have to go out there. You have to go out there. The way they say, I don't know if I remember it, and just help me add that ships are not made to be kept in harbors, right? And I'm a naval
Yeah.
daughter, so that comes to me. And they have to go out there, and they have to be in the rough seas to be able to make an impact of what they are. So I've been networking. I've been talking to people. I am very, very grateful for the kind of support I have in my community, in my professional network. It's just phenomenal. So it's as simple as I remember I remember a very turning conversation I had with one of my colleagues in my young manager days, and I went and sat down with her at next to her desk, and I said, what are you doing? So she's like, well, I'm making something. She was working on something in her department, which is I think she was into communications or something. And so she started asking me, she said, what do you want to do? You want to just be here and just grow in this organization? So I actually like, and I was like, no, actually I want to spread my wings and fly. So she said, what are you doing about it? So I said, I haven't given it a thought, and that's when it kind of struck me, like, even small conversations, you never know what were triggers or sparks. And she
All right.
still is my heart. She still is somebody who set my north pole in my compass. And today I'm unstoppable, be it learning, be it my fitness, be it my health, be it my diet, be it my industry, or anything, so this, and that's why you would see in my career trajectory as well that I have worked across industries and sectors and countries and people. And
Right.
trust me, Kavya, there is not one conversation that has not left an impact. And the way they say, while some things are priceless, for others there's MasterCard. So experience and learning are those priceless, opportunities that life can bring in forth, organizations can bring in forth. And I think learning is a journey called life. So that's what it is for me.
Okay, so I am also truly inspired, not only with what you said, but I know you're a great, I'm truly inspired by running and what all you keep doing. It's just so inspiring, right? And I hope with this quick chat, we've been able to share some perspectives and our thoughts with our audience as well. So thank you so much, Anyuta, for being with us. Any message for all of us before we kind of really wrap up this chat? Anything you want to say? Would love to hear. I mean, I don't want this to end, honestly. I want this to continue, but maybe some other time we need to catch up, right? But yes, I mean, please, any last minute thoughts or something you want to leave us with?
So yeah, I suddenly remembered one more hashtag of mine, and
Please
I'll
give
join
that
it.
give that to
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
and I'll just join it. And I think it's very simple. So one hashtag is keep learning, keep inspiring. The other is keep persevering and keep inspiring. The third is being humanely resourceful right now. So while we're talking about human resources, I think at the end of it, what only value adds is your humanity. and people would not remember you for your title or your designation or where you are. The way I'm talking, I don't even remember what department that friend of mine was, but I remember the impact she's left in my heart and how it's
Right.
become my guiding light. So it's very important for HR professionals for being humane. The being human, I think most of us know the brand, but the being itself of bringing that humanity into your day-to-day work is what makes an impact in the world out there, and that only comes when you learn.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that sums it up for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anyuta. And it was pleasure to have you with us today. And
Thank
I
you so
look
much.
forward to having another round of discussion with you. We're not ending here. We need to talk more, right? There's a lot we can discuss here. Thank you so much for sparing our time. And thanks to our audience for being here and
Thank
listening
you.
to us. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.